Hello there, Tina Jessen here. A lot of people have been asking me how I managed to lose 25 pounds over the last few months over the summer. So much so that people are actually asking me not just how I did it, but actually to show them how I did it. Now, this is not a weight loss sell pitch in any means whatsoever. This is just a change in diet. And when I started talking to people about what I was doing, they were saying, oh, you're on the keto, oh, you're on the paleo, oh, you're on this diet or that diet. And actually, I wasn't on any of those, but I was taking some principles of those programs, if you like, to heart. And what actually got me started was seeing a TV program. It was actually showed on Netflix called The Magic Pill. Which was a really great title because everybody is looking for the magic pill, but not wanting to do a spoiler alert on it. It wasn't actually about a pill, it was about changing your diet to aid health and vitality. And realizing that sugar is probably more addictive than heroin. Yeah, just think about that one for a minute. Sugar more addictive than heroin. And I don't know about you, but I'm very familiar with that sugar salt cycle that we can get on, where we have something sweet, and then to take off the sweet edge we need something salty, and then take off the salty edge we need something sweet. So we kind of overeat because we have these cravings. And a couple of the things I realized was that if we can take out carbs turns to sugar really quickly, and then the blood sugar in our body goes up, and then we get cravings, we want to eat more. So by cutting out carbohydrates and refined sugars out of the diet, then you actually stop cravings. At least that was the theory. So I thought, well, let me give that a go. And my husband was away for a couple of weeks in the UK. And I thought, well, I can eat what I like without having to worry about any kind of critique, I suppose. It's like, what are you eating on your funny food, which kind of undermines what you're thinking sometimes. And I could go out and buy what I wanted. So I thought, okay, I will try this and cut out carbohydrates. Now, the problem with cutting out carbohydrates, I absolutely love bread. I mean, I really, really do love bread. But I have realised that since moving to the States, that the bread here in the US is not as good, generally, unless you're buying artisan bread, as good as the bread that we get in the UK. And one of the biggest difference between the UK food industry and the US food industry is that here in the States we have corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, which goes into so many things. Even tomato ketchup has this corn syrup. Which is a derivative of corn, but it's chemically modified, and the body can't really adapt to it very well. And again, it kind of builds in those cravings. So I thought, well, am I able to cut out bread for 3 days? Let's just try it. Let's just see if I can go a day without any bread. And I also realized that if I could increase my protein consumption, because you can't cut things out without kind of making it up somewhere else. If I could increase my protein in my diet, I'd read that would take away your hunger pains. You can get filled up very easily on protein. I mean, just try eating 6 eggs. It's very hard to do. If you can take out the bread and just fill up on the protein, maybe that could help. So I thought initially, if I can do this for the first 2 or 3 days while my husband's away, and see how I feel at the end of that. Now, what happened there is I did take out carbs, so it was no carbs at all, none of those high sugar converting carbs. So there was no breads, no grains of any kind, so no rice, no pasta, no bread, which can be pretty hard. But then what I was doing is I was adding eggs, I was eating the avocados, really great, because it doesn't matter how much fat you eat as long as you're not putting the carbs in your body turning to sugars, because yes, fats can sit in the body, but you feel much more satisfied if you've had some fats. And obviously avocado being plant-based is also a good thing. So I think anything plant-based is going to be pretty good, as long as it's not one of these carbs that turns into sugars really easily. So after 3 days, what I found was I was no longer craving anything sweet, which meant I was actually eating less. And I just kind of kept going. And after 2 weeks, I had dropped a dress size, bought new jeans, and my husband actually could tell that I'd lost some weight, which, you know, knowing guys, they're not always that observant, so I was quite pleased with myself at that. And they say, don't they? I mean, I don't know if it was Weight Watchers or some previous diet that I'd been on, that there's no, how does the saying go? Nothing tastes as good as feeling good feels. And I never really got my head around that. It's like, well, you've obviously never had the bread or have a craving for bread like I do. But I actually understand what that means now. Nothing tastes as good as feeling good feels. Because feeling good is amazing. And having stopped the bread, which was really my weakness as far as carbs was concerned, what I found was I lost all the bloating in my belly. So I didn't feel bleh at the end of a meal. I felt, well, just happy, I suppose, just kind of, well, that was a nice meal. I'm now happy, going to move on and do some other stuff. But it's not to say that I didn't do some exercise, because one of the things I didn't want to do, because I'm in my 50s now, and what I didn't want to do, having seen my mum and my mother-in-law get older and look more and more frail, was I didn't want to lose the weight and start to look gaunt or frail, I suppose. I just didn't want to look that way. So that inspired me to start, I'm going to say the word exercise. I hate the word exercise, and I've not been very good at doing it in my lifetime at all. I've done it in spurts. But what I find is that I do like dancing. And a little while ago, I bought a trampoline, one of those little mini trampolines, and I got it in the corner of my bedroom. And I bounced on it for a couple of minutes, 3 or 4 times, and I'm really embarrassed to say that, but I hadn't really found a way of building that into my routine. But of course I was looking at not wanting to look frail as I was losing weight, so I wanted to build a little bit of muscle. So I started bouncing, but I didn't bounce just on my own, just to silence. I realised that if I could find some tunes that I could bounce to, I could play 3, 4, 5 songs, which is what, 20, 25, 30 minutes of exercise. And I could do it every day. And I enjoyed it. And I was very present and very in the moment, which meant that I was kind of like reducing a lot of the stress, having multiple businesses. And just being in the moment and having that physical release every morning kind of spurred me on as well. So my body was feeling good because I wasn't putting this heavy carb and feeling bloated into my body. And I just felt good. And a lot of the inflammation, because I have kind of clicky knees and hips, because, like I say, I'm in my 50s now, so I'm getting a bit older. And I thought to myself, if I can get rid of the stuff that was making my joints inflamed, which was to do with my diet, then I could exercise. So, and like I say, the exercise I was doing was bouncing, which is actually really good on your knees because it's cushioning it. It's not like running on a hard surface. You're just bouncing, and it's giving. Yeah. Anyway, I really, really enjoy it, and now I do it 2 or 3 times a week. And I do it from 10 minutes to half an hour, just depending on how much time I have. And the important thing is just to do it. And if I don't do it, I feel really sluggish all day. If I do it, I feel really full of energy. So I've just come out of the shower, hence the hair's still wet. And I am going to go through what I'm going to have for breakfast, because this is all part of how I've managed to lose 25 pounds in about 3 months. So the idea of not eating carbs and getting rid of all your grains, but eating nuts and seeds instead. And that's what this breakfast is going to be. It's going to be a bit like your alternative to oatmeal, but it is with nuts and seeds. So what I have here is I have chia seeds. These are all organic, just something that I picked up in the store. So the great thing about chia seeds, and this is what they look like. You can, yeah, I'm still trying to get my head around how to use the camera in here. Let me just tilt it up a little bit for you. So I've got my chia seeds in there. So just a spoonful. I'm just using a dessert spoon. I've got coconut flour. Now this is it's just like taking coconut and putting it through a blender. So coconut flour, we'll just pop some of that in there. Now the thing is with coconut powder, flour, when you add water to it, it expands about 3 times its volume, so you don't actually need very much of that. Then I've got some ground flaxseed or flaxseed meal. So you can buy flax seeds and then you can grind them, or you can just buy it like I've done here. And again, I'm just going to put a spoonful of that in here if I can do so without making a heck of a mess. So a spoonful of flaxseed, and this could be any seed or nut that you want. If you like almonds, you could grind almonds down. And then for a little bit of sweetness, because although now there is a little bit of sweetness in here, I have tried to cut out a lot of sugar, but this is plant-based cranberries, and I'm only putting just a few in there, so just a small handful. And this, looking at the ingredients, has cranberries and cane sugar, so it doesn't have that horrible corn syrup in there. It's got a little bit of cane sugar though in there, and some pressed sunflower oil, which will be used as its preservative. So I'm just mixing that up, and then I've got a kettle, hot water. I'm just going to pour a little bit of that to about double the volume in my little bowl here. Let me just see if I can get that onto shot. There we go. Yeah, so I'm just going to leave that for a second to mix, and that is going to, there we go. So this is what it looks like. It's like oatmeal or porridge, but there is no oats in this. This is just nuts and seeds and a little bit of dried cranberry. If I had them in, I would be using banana, because natural sugars are better than the cane sugar that's in here, but cane sugar is better than corn syrup, so it's all on a scale. I'll just mix that up, and that is going to fill me up. And I say the chia seeds have the chia seeds have grown, and the coconut flour has basically tripled in size, because I only had a spoonful of each of these, and there must be, well, there's a whole bowl full here now, with a few cranberries popped in there. And I am going to have some tea. I am using Tea Plan teas on this, and green tea is another favourite of mine as well. Let me just have some of this. I'm actually quite hungry after that workout. Well, that's great. So what I'm planning to do is let you have a bit of an insight into some of the foods that I'm eating. That's helped me get my shape back again. Like I say, I've lost about 25 pounds over about a 3-month period. It doesn't happen overnight, but in that first 2 weeks I had dropped a dress size. So I've gone down from about 168 pounds down to 144. So I feel like I'm more on a maintenance plan now, but these are the foods that I was eating, and happy to share that with you for anybody that's interested. So until next time, see you then. Bye now.